snap peas? Is that the same as edamame? Oh. Alright, you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so take a look at your paper. Okay, we're reviewing Monday, Tuesday, since I didn't see you yesterday, just to get back on the same page. You have your calculator again for checking stuff. So look at number 1. Where is our center going to be?
Right. 4 up.
To the right, 4 up, 1. Good. So I'll go to the right and up. So that puts me right here. Okay? Then remember that if it's a square root, if it's a positive square root, then the graph is shaped like that. So it would be like this. What'd you say, Kenna? Oh, I can turn the front lights off. I usually do that. Okay, now go ahead and look ahead at number 2. I'm not going to do number 2. But if you were to do number 2, what is different about the graph? It has a what in the front? Negative. So instead of being the up version of a square root, it would be the down version. So for number 2, it's a negative square root. So I'm going to draw the graph like that. Yep, it'll be reflected upside down. Now, I don't care which one we do all the way through. Would you rather do the one with the negative or the regular one?
Negative.
Negative? Okay, so which way are we shifting?
Right.
And? So 3 down 7 is here. And then I'm drawing my graph aimed down. Because remember that negative in the front is what makes it point down. Okay, from here, what is my domain? How far back does my graph extend? Yeah, the x is 3. And then how far forward does it extend? Infinity. Okay, then for my range, trick question, what is the lowest that it goes? Negative infinity comes first, and then what's the highest? Negative 7, good. Okay, then for my f to the negative 1, do you remember what that stands for? Hint, it's the title of the section. Inverse, and how do you find an inverse? Switch the x and y, good. So instead of it being square root x minus 3, now it's negative square root y minus 3. Okay? Then from here, I'm going to drop my railroad tracks. And then remember, I just want to get my new y by itself. What is step 1 to do that? Okay, add the 7 across. Good. Now remember, x and 7 can't really go together, so we just leave it as x plus 7. Okay, so I have x plus 7. Then over here, I have negative square root y minus 3, but my 7s are gone. Okay, so question, do I have to get rid of the negative separately? No, because when I square both sides, what's going to happen? It's going to end up canceling out on its own. What's up? It is in that left crate at the very back. They go in order. Yep. Well, yeah. That your hands on it. Yep. 6. Yep. That's it.
And then I think we still missing one more.
Okay. Well, then just grab. They're all in the crate. Just pick one you haven't done, and all the videos are online.
How many more sessions are there?
Today's the last day, but I'm going to do one on Monday for you slackers.
Thank you.
So you're welcome. Okay. So when I square both sides, this negative is going to end up canceling out. Because a negative times a negative when I square ends up going away. Yep, so now I have y minus 3 equals x plus 7 squared. And then the minus 3, how do I get rid of that? Plus 3, can I add it to the 7? No, keep it separate.
Oh yeah, to the end.
I tricked you, got him. Okay. Then from there, which way are we shifting for our inverse? Left 7 and up 3. So that'd be negative 7, 3. This graph will be in green. Okay, negative 7, 3. And then from there, I don't know if you remember this, but the top square root always goes with the right side of a parabola. So the bottom of the square root is going to go with the left side. And when you draw it, you should be able to tell. They should like match each other. So that's probably the easiest way to tell. But I'm starting here, and then they're both going away because they're symmetric. What is the domain for my green graph right here? Negative infinity to negative 7. And then my range, how low does that green one go? 3 to infinity, good. And then do you remember these match each other, but they're backwards? Okay? So all that stuff should still be true. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
Why do we have to do all that math when you just reverse?
That's what I just.
So, I mean, this is kind of a separate skill from just knowing that it's backwards. So we're kind of just practicing and showing that no matter how you do it, you get the same answer. So like if I reverse these and graph this, it's kind of almost like a check your work kind of thing.
Okay, but do we have to do it all on the sheet?
On this sheet, yes.
Alright.
Okay, but like if it was a multiple choice question and you wanted to just reverse it in your head, that would be fine. Okay, go down to number 3. What's my start point? To the right 5 and
I said, man, that's kind of whack.
up to. So right 5 up to, bloop, right there. Now, cubic roots. Remember that cubic roots are the squiggles, but they're sideways. Also notice that since my squiggle isn't negative, it needs to squiggle uphill. So it'll be like that. Okay. What are the domain and range for your cubics? Yep. Okay, because remember that your squiggles are pointed in opposite directions. One's going left, one's going right, one's going up, one's going down. Okay? So now to find the inverse, remember that's f to the minus 1. That stands for inverse. You're going to switch the letters and then switch the sides. So instead of it being a x minus 5, now it's a y minus 5 plus 2. And instead of it still being a y equals, now it's an x equals, yes. Okay, what do we do first? Yeah, we have to get rid of the 2 by subtracting. So if I take away 2 from x, that's now just an x minus 2. Yes, you cube it. Okay, if it's a square root, you square both sides. If it's a cube root, you cube both sides. So I'm going to cube here, and I'm going to cube here. And remember that when you cube the x, since it had a minus 2 with it, you have to group and cube. Okay? Then from there, these guys cross out. Y minus 5 gets to come down from the inside. It's not inside anymore. And then to get rid of the minus 5, we plus 5. Yep. So your answer would basically just be this. Y equals x minus 2 cubed plus 5. Okay? What would my starting point be? 2, 5. Good. So 2, 5 would be 2, 5 is here. And then remember that your graphs should match each other. So when you draw your squiggle, you should see that it's symmetric. So you can watch me do it. Okay, your squiggle, you start at that dot. Okay, you're going to go down this way, up this way. So start at the dot, down this way, up that way. And see how they match each other? Okay, if that doesn't happen, you messed it up. Then your domain and range, we already know are both all real numbers. Okay, x within, y within. Alright, turn the page. What'd you say? Sorry. You could plug it in and graph it. Yeah, sure. Y'all, he's had a long day. Okay, long story short, I'll summarize while he's in the bathroom. So his dad has like another kid that he gave up for adoption. So anyway, I already knew this. I've known this for a long time, but he told Ashton about it and he told him not to tell anybody. So anyway, of course Ashton told me. I'm literally his mom and I already knew. And so anyway, he told my mom while we were playing at their house. And his dad was like, I told you not to tell anybody. You betrayed my trust. So he has to write 100 sentences. I will not break my dad's trust. Such a bully. And so I tried to say like, okay, like he is excited about finding out he has a brother. Why do you? And like, that's a positive thing. And he was like, well, I was testing you. You failed the test. That's the worst. So anyway, that's why. So I said that I disagreed with it, and he was like, well, if he doesn't do it, he's going to have a worse punishment this weekend. And I was like, okay, well, let's just get it done then. So anyway, that's why he's here. And kind of in a sad mood, so.
Take him a golden chick. Get him a little happy meal or something.
Yeah.
My mom used to make me do the same thing. Whenever I lived with her, like if I messed up, she would make me write.
But it's like, I don't want him to have to like run 3 miles. I feel like sentences is better. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, that's why. If he seems a little in his feelings, that's why. Okay, alright. So, refocus. Okay, do we need to do number 4? Y'all got it? What are you finding? F to the -1 is the inverse. So you're going to switch the x and the y, and then you're going to resolve it. Okay? So can you do it, or you want to do it together?
Together.
Okay. What do you do first? After you switch, obviously.
Use the 9.
You move the 9, how? Subtract. Yeah, so 9 is on the wrong side, so when I move it over, now it's negative. So x minus 9. And then from there, to get rid of the cubic root, you have to cube. Remember, though, you always cube as a group. So you need to put parentheses around the x minus 9. Okay? So then now my cube and my cubic root are gone, but that 2 is there. That wasn't there before, but do you remember how to get rid of it? You multiply by what? A fraction. A half. Good. If it's a 2 in the front, then you put a 1/2 in the front, and it'll cancel it out. Now, what if it was a 5 in front? You'd put a 1/5. If it was a 3, a 1/3. So whatever number's out here, you get rid of it by putting a fraction with it. So these guys are gone. And now that the 2 is gone, do I still need those parentheses around the y minus 12? No. So now that that's gone, I have just one step left. Yep. Take the minus 12 here, you're going to plus it across, and then you're done. Yep. Okay, and then as Romeo kind of pointed out, on the front, right, it's like you're practicing all the stuff together. They're not going to ask you in one question to do all of that. They'll probably ask you either this or a question about domain and range. I'm just having you practice it all at the same time so that you'll see the connections. Okay? All right, bottom section is what we did on Tuesday. You have a calculator to check it, though, this time. We're just going to run through a couple of them. Let's start with number 6 at the top. What do you do first?
That's too easy.
Square and square. Now, if I type -4 squared into the calculator, okay, does that work? No. If your base is negative, what do you have to use? Parentheses. Okay, and remember, the reason why is because when you square a negative, it should come out positive. Because a negative times a negative is positive. So my squared and my square root are gone. -4 squared is 16. And then to get rid of the -1, I'm going to add it across. So +1 + 1, 17. Now, when you do your check step, remember you have to check square roots. You don't have to check cube roots. Your check step would be you plugging 17 in to see if it really gives you -4. Okay? So I take my 17, I put it right there. What is 17 minus 1 on the inside?
16.
Is the square root of 16 -4? No, what's the square root of 16? Square root of 16 is +4. So that's a nope, ES. Okay, and remember that ES stands for extraneous, solution. Okay? You have to check square roots, yes. Okay, now number 7, I don't want to do it, but can you just tell me, what would you do first? Would you divide or get rid of the 1 first? 1 and then divide. So we're going to work it a little ways down, but we're not going to finish. So remember, you always want to get rid of the -1 first and then divide second. So 1 and -1 cross out, you have this. 11 take away 1 is just a 10, and then you divide by 2. Okay, so remember your order there. You want to add or subtract first, divide second. Then when the 2 is gone, your next step would be to square both sides. Good. Okay. So then from there, I'm going to stop here and let you finish it, but you'd just square both sides, okay? And then, huh? Yeah, it's a decimal. All right, now, the next row, notice that you have x's that are not in square roots. Do you notice that? Okay, your x's here are not in square roots. What that means is that you're going to have to do what? 8, 9, 10. Well, I'm done doing 7. You're going to finish that one. Okay, 8, 9, 10. If your x is on the outside, what do I still have to do to solve? Square, square. And then what do I have now on the left? X squared means you're going to have to do what? T-chart. Now, when my squared and my square root cross out with each other, remember the middle stuff stays the same if it was in a house. So my negative 8x plus 20, that's going to stay the same. Then from there, I'm going to take my 8x and my minus 20 across. Remember that you can only T-chart when all your terms are together. So I'll do an x squared, a plus 8x, and a minus 20. Now, that is the easiest T-chart, so we're going to switch to number 9. I just wanted to get you to that step. So look at number 9, square both sides. When I square the 2x, will the answer be 2x squared? No. What will it be? 4x squared. Think about why. This is the same as 2x times 2x. So I'd have 2 times 2 gives me the 4, and then x times x gives me the squared. So this side is a 4x squared. Okay? Then on the other side, what happens when I have the squared and the square root? Cancels, and the middle stuff stays the same. Okay, then I got to bring all my guys over to the same side. So these guys over here are going to join the 4x squared. Good, and then remember to change those signs. Perfect. So it's a minus 20x and a plus 16. Now, I could T-chart, but I want to divide. If you can, divide. It's not wrong if you don't, but your numbers will be smaller. Yeah, what can I GCF by? 4. Good. Now, somebody in the other class is like, oh, I can divide by 2. Yeah, you could, but divide by the biggest thing, right? The greatest common factor.
So it'll be minus 5x plus
Okay, 5x in the middle, and then a plus 4 on the side. Good. Now, set up your chart. 4 at the top. We will review T-chart on Monday if you don't remember how to do it. What are my factors? 1 and 4 or? 2 and 2. Then I look at my number in the middle. I want a minus 5. That means that I need to pick 1 and 4, but they both have to be what? Negative. So negative 1 and negative 4. Those are my numbers. Okay, then divide them both by x and write your factors. Positive 1 and positive 4. Good. Now, if you have 2 answers, can they both be extraneous? Yes. Can only one of them be extraneous? Yes. Can they both be fine? Yes, so you have to check. I'm going to remind you how to do that real quick. So notice I wrote them on top of each other so that I can show my work next to it. So look at your equation. It was a 2x, now it's a 2 times 1. Then on the other side, it was a square root of 20x, now it's a 20 times 1. And then I'm going to type in both sides. Yeah, and see if they come out to be the same. So look, on the left side, 2 times 1. On the right side, square root 20 times 1 minus 16. Okay, did they come out to be the same? Yes. And then you would check it for the second one. But remember, if you have an x on both sides, you have to plug in on both sides. Okay, sure. Second one, we're plugging in the number 4. So it'd be 2 times 4. 20 times 4 minus 16. And then remember, you just type both sides in, see if they come out the same. If they do, it's normal. If they don't, it's extraneous. So 2 times 4 is my first side. 20 times 4 minus 16 under the square root is my second side. So I got 8 on top, 8 on bottom. Is it good? Yeah. You're close though. Oh, good. Oh, okay. Yeah. Now, number 10 is going to involve the shortcut that we reviewed last time. So, square both sides. And remember, when you square x with a little friend, okay, you have to use parentheses. And that's where you do the blank, blank, blank. Do you remember? Okay, so it's square, double, square. So what is my first term if I square it? X squared. What is my last term if I square it? Plus 9. And then remember in the middle, you put them together and then you double it. 6x. Very good. Other side, it had a square root, so the square just crosses out that square root and the negative 2x plus 2 stays the same. Okay? Now, if you didn't remember this shortcut, you could have written x plus 3 twice and then done like arrows on it. Okay, but remember, the whole point is just that it shortens it, right? So you don't have to do that, but you can if you want to if you don't remember the shortcut. Okay, from here, got to get all my guys together. Who's moving?
2.
Negative 2x needs to become a plus 2x. Who do I line it up under? The 6x. Remember, you have to put your like terms together. So it used to be a x squared plus 6x. Now it's an x squared plus 8x. Then I have this plus 2. I'm going to do it in the same step. Minus 2 minus 2. 9 minus 2 is 7. Yep. Then from there you would D-chart. Okay. So top of my chart is a 7. Yep. And then does that add to 8?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, we'll just kind of hold it at an angle. Do you want a spoon? All right, and then from there, all I have is this. It's kind of it. It's like a spork. Just keep it at an angle so it doesn't get everywhere. Okay, over x over x. So x is negative 1 and negative 7. Now, I will tell you that on this, one of them's good, one of them's extraneous. So check both. Okay? Bottom row, we're going to do one more. We're going to do number 12. Okay, take a look at number 12. What would you do first?
Number 12?
Subtract the 9. Good. Yeah? 15 minus 9 is 6. And then from there, if it's a square root, you square. If it's a cubic root, you cube. So I'm going to put my little 3 up here, put my 3 up here. Now, 6 to the 3 is on that chart that I gave you a while ago, but if you don't have it, calculator can still do it. 6 up to the 3 is 216. And then over here, my cube and cubic root are gone. So 10x minus 2 is 216. Add your 2 across, and then divide. So I have 10x equals, these guys are gone. 216 plus 2 is 218. And then divide by 10. What does that come out to be? Good. Now, question, do you have to check it? If it's cubic root? Yeah. So I'm going to put over here, no ES's for cubic roots.
So we don't have to check?
You don't have to check cubes. Yeah, it's because the squares and fourth roots can have ES's. Okay? So at this point, you're finishing it up. If you have any other stuff to finish up, cool. If you remember on Tuesday, those bottom 4 questions, I just put them on tomorrow's stuff. So if you want to throw away that yellow sheet, that's fine. They're going to be on the next worksheet. Huh? Sure. And then if you need to show me day 1 or day 2, as soon as you show it to me, I'm trying to type grades in so you know where your grade's at. Okay? Good job.